Hello, my name is Derek Atkins, and this video lecture is part one of Heresies and Controversies in the Christian Roman Empire. This video lecture is for the Church History 1 class at the East Asia School of Theology. In the last video lecture, we looked at the Arian controversy. We looked at what the Arian controversy was and how Christians responded to the Arian heresy. Today, we're going to look at 4 other theological controversies that occurred during the Christian Roman Empire. These controversies are, number 1, the Marxianite Heresy, number 2, the Manichaeist Heresy, number 3, the Gnosticism controversy, and number 4, the Pelagian controversy. We are going to look at what each one of these theological controversies was about and how Christians responded to these different theological controversies. Now, before we dive into today's controversies, I want to go over a bit of terminology with you. In this lecture, at a few points, I'm going to be referring to the area of land that is known as Turkey. However, in the last couple of months, the government of Turkey changed the official name of their country from Turkey to Turkiye. So I will be referring to this region as not as Turkey, but as Turkiye. Now, another note on terminology. This region during the ancient Roman Empire was also known as Asia Minor. So sometimes when you read about the journeys of Paul and the other early missionaries of that era, you will read about Asia Minor. So that's what Asia Minor is. It's another name for present-day Turkey. So now that we've looked at that the bit of terminology, let's dive into today's lesson. The first theological controversy I want us to look at is the Marxianite Heresy. The Marcionite heresy was begun by a man named Marcion, and it began in the town of Sinope in AD 144. Now, Sinope is a town that is located on Turkey's northern shore. That is, Sinope is located on the shores of the Black Sea. Now, Marcion believes that the God of the Old Testament is not the same God as the God of the New Testament. He believes that Yahweh in the Old Testament is inferior to the God of the New Testament. And he believes that Yahweh in the Old Testament created the universe. But the universe is, this physical universe, he taught, is evil. But the spiritual world is good. And so Marcion viewed, actually called the God of the Old Testament the demiurge. And so he believed that the demiurge is inferior to the God of the New Testament. And not only that, but he taught that the demiurge of the Old Testament was a God of wrath who enforced his commandments with stern justice, that he was not a God of mercy. On the other hand, Marcion taught that the God of the New Testament is a God of love, mercy, love and mercy. So he saw a fundamental contradiction between law and love and between righteousness and mercy. He could not reconcile these two. He could not accept that law and love may seem like a contradiction, but they actually go together. He also could not accept that mercy and justice could go together. And so mercy and righteousness, he could not accept that mercy and righteousness could go together. And so so he had a very bipolar understanding of the Bible. He taught that Jesus is the Son of God, but he also believed that the messianic prophecies of the Old Testament are not talking about Jesus. Instead, he believed that the messianic prophecies in the Old Testament are referring to a different Messiah who would later come for the Jewish people. Okay. Now, Marcion believed that because God is a God of love, that God is willing to forgive everyone. And therefore, Marcion did not believe that God would judge anybody. And so, because of this teaching, Marcion rejected the biblical teaching that there will one day be a day of judgment. Marcion therefore rejected the Old Testament, and he then compiled a list of New Testament books that he considered to be canonical. Now, this word canonical means accepted as part of the official body of books that are in the New Testament. So this list that Marcion drew up was a list of books that he believed should be defined as the official canon or the official body of the New Testament. Now, it was in response to this that Christians then came up with their own list of books that are considered canonical in the New Testament. And so it was because of this heresy that Christians had to further define what it was that they believed. They had to further define what books they believe are part of the New Testament. They had to further define their teaching about Jesus Christ and their teaching about God. Now, there is another key difference. Now, many people have noticed that Gnosticism and Marxianism are both very common, have a lot in common with each other, because both of them teach that the physical world is evil and the spiritual world is good. But there is a key difference between Gnosticism and Marxianism. Gnostics taught that their teachings were based on secret knowledge. This was secret knowledge that only they had access to. Marcion, on the other hand, taught that his teaching came from God's revealed message in the New Testament. So he said, I'm not teaching secret knowledge. I'm simply teaching what God has already revealed in the New Testament. So that's the major difference between Gnosticism and Marcionism. Now, as I said, Marcion drew up a list of books that he considered to be canonical in the New Testament. Now, Irenaeus in AD 180 drew up a different list of books that he considered to be canonical in the New Testament. And Irenaeus did this in response to the list that Marcion drew up. So let's compare these two lists of books that these two men considered to be canonical in the New Testament. Now, Irenaeus was defending historic Christianity against the Marcionite heresy. So that's why Irenaeus drew up this canon, this list of books that he considered to be canonical in the New Testament. So let's look at this list together. So in Marcion's canon begins with the Gospel of Marcion, which closely resembles the Gospel of Luke. But he had only one gospel, the Gospel of Marcion. Now, Irenaeus' canon has four gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Okay? You'll also notice that Irenaeus' canon includes the book of Acts, but Marcion's canon does not. Now, Marcion's canon includes Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Irenaeus' canon also includes Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Now, Marcion included the books of Colossians, Philippians, and Philemon. Okay? Irenaeus also included Colossians, Philippians, and Philemon. But Irenaeus also included a number of other epistles or letters. He also included Galatians, Ephesians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st and 2nd and 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation. Now, there's one other book that Marcion's canon includes that is not part of Irenaeus' canon, and that is the book of the Laodiceans. So you can see how these two lists of canonical books are very different from one another. Now, of course, Irenaeus' canon is the canon that we have in our Bible. This list is a list of all the books that are in our New Testament, the Christian New Testament. But I just want to repeat that Irenaeus drew up this list in AD 180 in response to the list of books that Marcion drew up, which Marcion claimed were canonical in the New Testament. Now, Manichaeism, Manichaeism, which became widespread later throughout much of the Roman Empire, is believed to have taken some of its ideas from the Marcionite heresy. So this is one of the realities that we see in church history. Sometimes bad ideas live on and get repackaged in new heresies or new ideas. Okay. So we've looked at the Marcionite heresy. Now let's look at the Montanist heresy. Okay. Montanism was a movement that began in the mid-100s in Phrygia, which was located in modern-day Turkey. And this movement was named after Montanus. That's why this is known as the Montanist heresy. Montanus was a recent convert to Christianity. And he began engaging in ecstatic prophetic utterances. He also was soon joined by two prophetesses, a lady named Crissa, also known as Priscilla, and a lady known as Maximilla. Now, together, these three taught that Jesus' coming was very soon, and that the town of Pepsa in Phrygia would become the site of the New Jerusalem after Jesus' return. They also taught that Christians should live an ascetic lifestyle, including practicing celibacy. Now, Christians opposed Montanus not because of his prophetic utterances, for at this time in church history, prophetic utterances were considered very much part of a normal part of the Christian practice. However, what Christians objected to were the ecstatic behaviors that accompanied Montanus' prophetic utterances. These ecstatic behaviors included frenzied motion and babbling with unintelligible words. Now, some people have noted that the ecstatic practices that Montanus, Priscilla, and Maximilla engaged in are similar to some of the practices that we see in Pentecostal and charismatic gatherings today. Now, I don't want to say any, I don't want to suggest anything bad about that, but this is something that people have noticed. Okay, another criticism against Montanism was that Montanus claimed that he was God. For example, he once said, "I am the Father, the Word, and the Paraclete." The Word being another name for Jesus, and the Paraclete being another name for the Holy Spirit. Montanus, Priscilla, and Maximilla also claimed that their teaching superseded the teachings of Paul, the teachings of the apostles, and they claimed that their teachings even superseded the teachings of Jesus himself. So these were some serious objections that Christians had to the Montanists. And these Montanus, Priscilla, and Maximilla also claimed that they were receiving ongoing revelation, continuing revelation from the Holy Spirit. Now, Montanism spread throughout Asia Minor and then on to the rest of the Christian world, including North Africa and Gaul, which is present-day France. In North Africa, Montanus found a powerful opponent, not opponent, but proponent, a powerful proponent in Tertullian. Now, it's very ironic that Tertullian became a follower of Montanus, because with the Marxianite Heresy, we saw that Tertullian was a powerful opponent of Marcion. He fought against Marcion through his writing. But now, with Montanus, he embraced the Montanist heresy. Tertullian fought against the Marcionite heresy, but he embraced the Montanist heresy. So this is a very ironic development that we see in Tertullian's life. Now, how did Christians respond to the Montanist heresy? Through a series of church councils, Christian doctrines were gradually clarified in response to Montanism. In the meantime, Roman emperors, beginning with Constantine, passed laws against the Montanists. Within a few generations, Montanism practically disappeared, although small pockets of Montanism continue to persist through the 8th century. And that ends part 1 of this video lecture. Please, we will continue this lecture with part 2 in just a moment.